Now, you know, we've got 1.8 million views, so maybe you ought to stick around and see what this show is actually about. And he was a student of Peter Matthiessen back around the turn of the century. And Peter was an American novelist, a naturalist, a wilderness writer, and a Zen teacher who was also, at one time, a CIA agent. So if we're holding back the inside, what are we holding away from the exterior world as well? And maybe we ought to think about that. So in this inner world, Lee, you had, we talked about the Shabda and you being able to hear the sound current since you were young. Do you remember when the first inkling of this interconnectedness happened? Was it in your youth or teenage years? When did you first recognize that there was more than just the physical world that we can see?
Sure. So I found that a fascinating question because you did send me a list of questions ahead of time, and I was thinking about it. And it's interesting because in my new book, there's a whole section about when does the journey begin?
Mm.
And because to me, that is a fascinating question. And my journey, as far as I can tell, began when I was a kid. I was probably, in first grade or not even. And my father taught Sunday school at our local church. And I remember going to his classroom, and there was just this aura that spoke to me. There was something that was very different than the rest of my life. There
Mm-hmm.
was this kind of just feeling that was there.
Almost a
And of course,
presence, right?
I'm
A
sorry, say it again.
presence.
Presence. There was definitely a presence. And it wasn't my father's presence. It wasn't the other kids. I mean, I look back now, the kids all seem so old to me. They were probably like in third grade or something, and I was,
Right.
in kindergarten. But there was just a presence in the space, in the room. And that's my first memory of really knowing that. And but in the book where I this chapter about when does the journey begin, I am a firm believer also in previous lives. And so who knows when the journey began? Did it really begin then? Did it begin even earlier in some previous lifetime?
Sure.
It's hard to say. And
Well, it
then,
begins at that first incarnation, right? We come here from the, let's say, formless world, right? We take on form, and then we seek to get back to that formless or to bring the understanding that we had in that formless life, which is loving and being loved, right?